I mean, the little bit that we heard when it was read on the floor today, how does it make you feel if it does look like there's going to be a restructuring of the Nigerian tax system? In fact, it's going to have a new name if it's passed into law.
Well, in any case, there is nothing in a name, really. I'm not impressed by any change of name. I'm impressed by the substance. These things that are being done are long overdue. But that's not where the problem is. And it's important that we prioritize. We look at the bigger picture. Sean, you can restructure the tax system, be fair, avoid double taxation, and sort of bring in more money. But how does that help us? If that money that has been collected is going to be put together and paid to some contractor in some road that we have never heard about, and nothing appears thereafter, and the whole money has been stolen. Femi Falana, the senior advocate, just talked about a contract that was, duly awarded with all the processes and procedures, and that today, barely 3 years after, nobody is even claiming. I mean, you can't even find the contractor. You can't find the job done. Where is the money? Where is the contractor? Where are the processes? So, I mean, yes, it's good to fine-tune and become more efficient in terms of governance. I mean, tax governance. But my mind actually goes to the fact that after collecting the money, where does the money go? And this is the question we should be worried about, not worried about these things.
And when we look at what is obtainable in other climes, and at a point where we have economic difficulties in the country, and the realities of the average person is also very concerning. And you look at it, their purchasing power. If you look at some of the companies that deals in selling these bigger supermarkets in other climes, they cannot come here because the average person's purchasing power has been killed. What in your mind do you think can make us wake up our economy?
There are more consequences of what is happening now that I want us to turn our attention, right? Ask any university administrator or polytechnic or colleges of education, any of our tertiary institutions. Since they opened, many of them, nearly half of their students cannot come back to school because they don't have the money to pay for the registration. I have spoken to lecturers. I have family members who are in the university system, and they report to me. What does that mean in the next few years? You're having young people who have been frustrated out of education, not because they have failed to, but because the economy has basically impoverished them. They cannot even continue school. We have been battling the rural bandits. These are going to be the urban bandits in the few years ahead. And this is the kind of attention that we should be given. But because we don't think through our problems, because half of the time elected political leaders are busy with frivolities, they are not knowledge driven, they have no statistics right in front of them when they take decisions. So these things are completely ignored. And the country will continue to, if you like, invite this, kind of, it will elicit the kind of problems that we're talking about. So we have seen them in other countries where they ignored these issues and they had this backlash, and it's going to come. It's already here, but I don't think government understands what is happening. I don't see them, speaking to the issues. I don't see them addressing the real problems. They keep going, tiptoeing around the real problems and coming up with, optics and cosmetics and inconsequential issues, while the real big issues are there waiting unaddressed. And this is my point. These big issues are going to generate the kind of backlash that can consume all the elites.
Where members of parliament. There is a competition of who finish from Harvard, Ivy Leagues, who finish from tops. And there were times in this country where the likes of Obafemi Awolowo University, the University of Ibadan, there is a competition in classes of government, and those who say they finish from this school, there is a competition of knowledge. And we are now in a society where is a competition of something else other than knowledge. A big question as to those who will never even employ some class of people based on their knowledge to head their private enterprise. But these are the lowest of the lowest in knowledge base, are the ones leading at the best of us. It's a sad scenario. But the question is, 64 years down the line, we celebrated independence 2 days ago. And you've seen it all. You were here. You were on that day during independence. Is this the dream of our forefathers or our founding fathers? Is this what they saw?
Certainly it is not. And it all happened right under our nose. Ignorance, corruption, imbecility took over governance. And then the learned and the more competent had to pull back. And society is today being led by that lot, that group of people whose ambition is not to fix their country. They have even no sense of shame that they, as parliamentarians or as governors or as local government chairmen, are looking up to lead other countries or to catch up with their peers. No, they are just busy amassing wealth and corrupting young people, creating all manners of corruption and destroying basically the economy of their own country. For them, they cannot even see the dangers of what they are doing, for some of them, because the knowledge for you to understand the consequences is not even there. So they are some of the most dangerous people that we have in this country.
And that's why politics is seen as a dirty
Precisely.
game.
Our politics is just a bunch of basically, it's a laughing.
Where the thugs and the lowest of the society play their dirty game.
So we have to, those of us, who are worried about this, and those who will have the courage, to need to come together. It's not a matter of exactly
an aggregation of knowledge, and like minds.
I have made this point severally that we must have an elite consensus as to where do we want our country to be. And in this matter, we have to rise above the pettiness of where you come from. We have to salvage this country. It doesn't matter where you come from, you need a country. Today, in the 21st century, you can only exist in a country. There is no, what you might call no man's land, where you can go and live your life. You have to live in a country. And therefore, you have to fix your country if you really want to have peace, and you have to have a life that is meaningful. And the way to do it is to get those with the vision, with the knowledge, with the commitment, with the values to come together and work out their way through the muddle that is available. It can be done. It should be done. And I'm still appealing that there should be, the elite should rise above this pettiness, create a kind of elite consensus. And I thought some people have started. I have started some platforms. We are still working, towards that. That is the big tent, which we started with we started the also Rescue Nigeria project. But of course, what happens is that after the elections, most people pull back and try to sort out their personal problems. And in fact, the economy as it is now has made it more difficult for people to. But in spite of that, we still have a responsibility to come together to fix this country. And the only way to do it is to start the process of addressing the issue of leadership.
On democracy, he mentioned and he touched on quite a few things. Issue of how to galvanize the Nigerian people, the need for unity. How do you assess President Tinubu's speech on the 1st of December?
The first thing is that that is not a speech. It's empty. The words are completely empty. How many times has he said that?
It went below your standard?
It's not even a standard at all. there are issues that worry people. He's supposed to speak about food security. That is what happens. He's supposed to tell us what he has done about food security.
He said that. He said that our farmers are going back to farm.
Which is not true.
He said that.
Which is not true.
We're going to wrap up
which is not
food
true.
production.
Which is not true. Has he spoken about the climate change that has wiped away whatever little gains we have done? Look at Maiduguri, look at Kebbi, look at Ibadan, look at so many other places, the flood. He doesn't even know what is happening in the country from the speech. Because if he did, he would have known that what is most important are the issues of food and the issues of security and the issues of the economy. You just mentioned it. The purchasing power has been completely destroyed. I mean, people who could use their earnings to buy food, they cannot do so now. Naira has basically no value at the moment. So these are the issues that he should be addressing. The fact that he acknowledges that citizens are going through very tough times, he doesn't realize that one, he has been elected not to acknowledge our suffering, but to fix it. And when he speaks to us, he should be speaking about how does he fix the problem. And then he does not live as if he knew that these things are happening. He's buying a new jet. He's traveling all over the place. His family members are doing all sorts of things. Is this the way to really empathize with citizens who cannot eat, who cannot sleep, who cannot go back to school, who cannot go to the hospitals? This is what is happening in this country. The few of us that are still able to breathe in this suffocating environment have a responsibility to rescue our country. And what we need to do is to come together, form networks, and see how we can address the question of leadership. Because everything that is happening to us, if you reduce everything to what it is, it comes to leadership. And it is this leadership that we need to focus upon. We need to develop a criteria. You cannot be a president until you have certain things. Look at Singapore. Recently, there were about 4 people, and they run this criteria over and over again until they came out with someone who fit the criteria. They are not throwing away the others because they have some kind of collegial leadership. Anybody else would still be useful in a particular. So I think the focus is leadership. How do we change our leadership recruitment process so that we can get the kind of people who can fit this country? But the bunch that I hear now, I give exception for a few here and there, but a great majority of them are no use. They are destroying this country, and we have to stop them.